Let's talk about something that many leaders experience but don't always recognize is a problem. And that itself is over-explaining expectations to underperforming employees. If you've ever found yourself saying things like, I've already explained this, or we've talked about this before, or maybe even, I'm not sure what's not clicking here, this conversation is for you. Why? Because what many leaders may assume is like a communication issue, it's actually more so an accountability gap that's there. What do I mean by that? Let me be clear. Communication is critical, okay? But once expectations have been clearly communicated, then continuously repeating them, it does not improve performance itself. It actually creates 3 unintended consequences. It delays accountability, first and foremost. The more you re-explain, then guess what? The longer you delay addressing the real issue, which is performance. Instead of holding the standard, you just keep simply revisiting the instruction. It also signals that standards, they're flexible. And what do I mean by this? If expectations, guys, are constantly re-explained without consequence, then employees, they begin to believe over time that this isn't urgent, or hey, this is just not being, reinforced. So then standards itself begin to quietly weaken over time. It also drains leadership capacity, and that is a big one because you spend time reteaching than actually leading itself or empowering your employees. And that's not sustainable in the end, especially as your organization grows. So when we consider this, what should leaders do? Let's talk about a few practical shifts that you can implement. Establish clarity up front. Before performance is evaluated, then expectations, they must be specific, measurable, as well as understood. Vague expectation, it leads to repeated conversations. Also, document and reinforce. What do I mean by that? Expectations, they should live outside of the actual conversation. So within things like job descriptions, standard operating procedures or SOPs, performance metrics, this itself creates consistency. You can also shift from explaining to verifying. So the key point here is getting your employees to articulate back to you what you've stated to them. So you can ask them questions like, hey, what does success look like here in this situation? Or what is your understanding of the expectation here? This itself creates ownership, and you begin to empower your employees by doing that. Also, and one of my favorites, hold accountability consistently. At some point, guys, leadership, it has to shift from instruction to actual enforcement itself. And this is where performance management becomes critical. What is the key takeaway here? If you are constantly re-explaining expectations, instructions, then that itself is not a communication issue. It's that accountability just hasn't simply been fully established, and we've got to work to get to that point. And this is a concept that I teach leaders, especially when I'm working with them when it comes to things like building out, structured performance systems that clarify expectations, reinforce accountability, and reduce the need for repeated conversations. Because leadership, guys, especially when we think about strong leadership, it isn't about saying more. Strong leadership, it's about setting it clearly and actually standing on it. And if this resonated, I just ask you, continue to stick around and tune into the series itself, because I'm going to continue to break down for you what leaders are getting wrong right now, but of course, how can you fix it? The key thing here is to build better and with intention and also purpose.